People don't know what it's like for a lot of these places. Tell everyone what the general scenario is for some of these places.
So I'm going to put it into terms we can all understand for a second. Most of us have been on a plane. We've been on an airplane. According to the USDA, a dog only needs 6 inches of extra space above his head and past his tailbone to live for his full life. So as long as that dog can stand up, turn around, and lay down, it can stay in that confined space. So if you were flying somewhere, like I'm from Story County, I'm from Ames, my whole town is flying down to Texas right now to go see the Cyclones play, it would be like saying strapped in that seat for the rest of your life. As long as you could stand up, turn around, and sit back down, you would have to stay in that little confined seat. And that, according to the USDA, is A-OK. And this is something people don't understand because those little kennels, they get full of feces and full of urine. The animals aren't taken out. A lot of times when the breeders are cleaning the kennels, they power wash them. And so the dogs often get injuries from the power washer. I mean, we've all seen...
They don't take them out?
Not always, no.
Oh, my God.
And so there are several dogs that we've seen come into rescue that have missing eyes, that have leg injuries, that have missing fur because they were power washed inside of their own kennel. And it's absolutely tragic. It's something that is enabled 100% by the government, both USDA and state of Iowa. It's up to us as animal lovers to kind of put pressure on those entities to make a difference.
So what can we do? What can we do about this?
So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. There are lots of different things we as advocates, as animal lovers, as human beings can do. Last time after I left your show, I went to visit my friends at the Jasper County Animal Shelter, and my friend Rachel, the director, wasn't there at the time, so I went to the back and sat and waited for her, and there was this scared dog in a kennel. And I asked one of the employees if I could get the dog out, and they were like, good luck. It's terrified. It's kind of been scared of everybody. And I was like, okay, we'll try. It was an 8-month-old puppy that someone had bought from a possible puppy mill in South Dakota. Decided the puppy was too rambunctious, and they left it in a kennel in their backyard its whole life.
Oh my
So
gosh.
this puppy is a Cane Corso, and they get to be like around 100 pounds. At 8 months old was only 50 pounds, and you could see her ribs and her hips. So after this show, I went and fostered that puppy.
Is that Bella? Or
Bama.
Bama. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I didn't know that.
Yep. So I literally, after this, I went there and I met that dog, and I called my husband, and I was like, I know my husband and I rescue black labs. We have 5. So I was like, I know we have 5, but this is a baby puppy. She'll fit right into our pack, and she only needs us for a little bit. We fostered her. Within 3 weeks, she found the best home ever.
Oh my gosh.
So that's one of the ways that you can help. Whether
Awesome.
you're planning on adopting a dog, you can always foster first and see how it works, like we were talking about earlier with that little home visit.
Yes.
You can always foster and then foster to adopt. And that's kind of, I wanted to share a happy story with everyone because things get really depressing in the puppy mill world. As I was fostering Bama, a friend of mine in Ames fell in love with her. And I had already known that someone else was going to adopt her. And so I was talking to this woman, and she was like, well, maybe we'll foster. And it just happens that she had already adopted a puppy mill survivor that I had previously rescued. And the adults from that specific breeder were coming into rescue again. And she was like, I want to foster the same breed because it might be related to my dog. So they pulled the dogs. She didn't ever meet the dog, didn't know anything about him. She actually fostered 2, and one passed away that night. She was so sick. She had one night into rescue and then passed away, but she knew a loving home. And so the second dog, they had been fostering for probably 2.5, 3 weeks. And on Christmas Day, her daughter opened up a letter, and it was from Santa. And it was a picture of her foster dog with the certificate of adoption. And she was reading it.
Was it the little blonde girl?
It was the little blonde girl.
Gosh.
Yep.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
how sweet.
Right? And she was like, I get to adopt Duke. He's mine. Just tears. Like, I sobbed. This
Wow.
little girl fostered. She knew that it was temporary. All she asked Santa for was to adopt her puppy mill survivor dog. So that's one way we can all help, either adopting or fostering. The next way is putting pressure on our state government. We are constantly the worst state in the nation when it comes to puppy mills. We all know that. We're also constantly the worst state when it comes to laws protecting our own pets. I'm not going to get into any of the graphic stories that have been happening, but 2 in the last week of humans, people here in Iowa, torturing kittens and dogs in unimaginable ways. Like, reading the article of everything that's happening just makes me sick to my stomach, because I can't believe there are humans out there that do this. But right now, Iowa doesn't have a law that protects those animals against felony torture. And so because both of those people who tortured their animals the first time, they're going to get a slap on the wrist. And so in 2019, we're working with other organizations to push a bill through that will really help strengthen those animal cruelty laws. And right now, if you're listening, you can email your legislators and you can just say, I care about stronger laws for animal protection. They listen to you. They really, really do. And the last statistic I heard is that if your legislator or city council member hears from 3 to 5 people in their town, their constituents, they're going to start taking an issue seriously. And
let's do this.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. And as, everybody was campaigning for the last election, a lot of the legislators were saying 8 out of 10 homes have a dog or a cat in them. They know their constituents have dogs or cats they're sharing their homes with. And so they're going to take these issues seriously when we demand it.
Well, absolutely. In fact, I think, I'm going to put on Facebook a link for Bailing Out Benji so people can continue to get this education from you, because I don't think I know anybody that would hear this and not want to help change things. I mean, and if you aren't an animal lover, I probably don't want to know you that well. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like something that I think most people, I mean, you feel helpless, but we're not helpless.
No.
We can do something.
Yes. And honestly, studies show that people that are going to commit crimes against animals, that's their starting point. They're going to commit crimes against humans. So if we want to stop people from hurting other people, we need to take animal cruelty and animal torture seriously.
Absolutely. I am 100% with you. Now, you were talking about fostering and other opportunities that come up for you to help make a difference. Now, at the Jasper County Animal Rescue League, if you're listening within that area, you can contact them out there and they will take you through the whole process. Wherever you are throughout the state, there is an opportunity for you to help and to foster and to get to know an animal. And what you need to do, probably, what do you suggest for people that are thinking, okay, here's a scenario. Somebody I know that wants to get a puppy, but wants a specific breed. You don't have to go somewhere.
You don't have to go to a physical location anymore. Thanks to websites like petfinder.com, adoptapet.com, you literally go in, you put in what breed you want. If you're going to be specific on an age, if you're going to be specific on a size, a gender, you put all those parameters in, you put your zip code in, you put how far you're willing to travel, and then it filters it for you. Iowa's home to wonderful breed-specific rescues. Jasper County is wonderful at taking anything. They often have wonderful purebreds available right here in Newton. Mm-hmm. But we also have like Tasia Blue Husky Rescue. We have Great Dane Rescue. We have just about any rescue here in the Midwest to find a dog for you.
And how can people be sure that they're not supporting one of these horrible places?
So on Pet Finder, for example, or Adopt a Pet, that's only licensed rescues and shelters. So you're going to see the dog. You're going to end up, once you fill out the initial paperwork, you're going to be in contact with either the shelter director, the foster coordinator, or the foster home themselves. Mm-hmm. And they're going to ask you questions. They're going to want to see either pictures of your home or know what your home is like. Some places require home visits. They really want to make sure it's a good fit for the animal.
Right.
But when you're going through these steps, you'll know confidently that you're really seeing a good place.
Yeah, because some of these places, for example, and a lot of people just don't know. They just don't know.
Absolutely.
My dad has not ever had a dog mm-hmm. before. And so when he looked up this specific place, like you said, it's cuddly and it looks like a sweet home of puppies that are so well cared for. But they've got just like cages and cages of dogs that don't.
Yeah.
And they don't show you that.
Right.
They don't show you that.
When I recognize the name. Like, you barely said the breeder's name, and I knew exactly who they were, because the notorious ones are selling absolutely everywhere under different names.
And it's like, oh, yeah, you can have this puppy, $800. And there's no, what kind of home will you provide for it? Are you going to be home with your, it's just like, give me the money, here you go.
They just barely give the animals their initial shots. The animals might be microchipped, they might not. They're not spayed or neutered. So on top of that $800 cost, you immediately take the dog to your vet and incur another $400 to $500 in vet bills if it's healthy. If it's sick, which is pretty likely, then you're going to incur even more bills.
Yeah.
So the safest option is always adopting, because the animal, at least you know the health issues. It comes spayed or neutered. That's always the safer option.
I have a question about your organization. If somebody's listening and they want to help you and your organization, how can we do that?
So we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. The easiest way, the bare bones easiest way, is to contact me, and I will hook you up with like a packet of flyers, and you hang up flyers in your town. So you have a community board right here. I could tack up a flyer that says facts about Iowa puppy mills, and anyone who comes by will read that flyer. I travel so much that I keep a pack with me all the time for different states, and I leave them in airports. I leave them at every gas station I stop at. I try really hard because you never know who you're going to reach. So that's one way. There's also tabling events, depending on how active you want to be. Standing with me at an adoption event, like at Jasper County or a pet expo or the library, and just educating people one-on-one. I try really, really hard to connect with a person to see how they want to help. Not everybody is an extrovert. Not everybody is a people person. So if you want to just help with emails, or if you want to just help with research, I will try really hard to find a way for you to fit into our organization. We have one woman who isn't on Facebook, which is kind of something that doesn't happen too often anymore. Other organizations have shied away from having her help them. And so I work with her, and she makes us blankets for our puppy mill survivors. She hand sews them. It's wonderful. I mean,
That is so cool.
She's a lady who likes to sit and sew, and that's an easy way for her to help.
Yeah.
I never would have thought about that, but that was something that we found was her strength, and she wanted to help give a piece of her heart to every dog we save.
Well, you have a wealth of information. You do amazing work, and we will absolutely be having you come back in the studio. People are going to want to find out more about this and get a hold of you. Tell everyone how they can do that, Mindi.
So Bailing Out Benji is on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all of it, and we also have a website. Our main website is accessible by bailingoutbenji.com, and you can see all of our research, all of our puppy mill maps and things like that. Our secondary website is maps.bailingoutbenji.com, and that is interactive. So if you go to Iowa and you click on Iowa, you can see the worst puppy mills in our state. You can see the pet stores that are selling puppy mill dogs, and you can see the progress we've personally made passing retail bans in our state, which is kind of something I wanted to talk about really, really quickly at the end.
Sure.
Newton, thankfully, doesn't have a pet store that sells puppy mill dogs yet. I say yet because businesses pop up every single day. And so one of the biggest things that you listeners right now can do is send an email to your city council and just say, I would like you to look into passing a ban that says our stores can only have rescue or shelter animals. This is a huge movement that's happening all over the country. California, the entire state, just passed this ban. It goes into effect next week. And it says that any store in the state of California can only have shelter or rescue animals.
That's awesome.
And we know right now Newton is full of kittens, of dogs, of cats, everything. So it's easy for our local businesses to support a local rescue or shelter versus bringing in commercially bred animals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, like I said, so much information, to be learned. Bailing Out Benji is an amazing organization doing so much good. And Mindi, I thank you for everything you do. Thanks for being here this morning.
No, thanks for having me. I love coming over.
We'll have you again soon. That is for sure. Let's see. It is just about 9:50 Energy FM.